So let's face it, most of us lack wisdom. But James, or Yaakov, he says wisdom comes from God, and God gives it generously to those who ask. As long as you're not asking for it in doubt, you're not second guessing all the time. So he says, hey, you want wisdom? Go to God. He gives it, and he gives it quite generously, but you got to believe it. So let me read the verse. James 1:5 says, if any of you lacks wisdom, let him ask of God, who gives generously to all without reproach. So he's like, I'm glad to give you wisdom, and it will be given to him. But let him ask in faith with no doubting. For the one who doubts like a wave on the sea, and is driven and tossed around by the wind, for that person must not suppose he's going to get anything from God. He's a double-minded man, and he's unstable in all his ways. So now this is written in the context of just talking about trials of many kinds, various kinds of trials. He's talking about tension. He's talking about pressure. And a person says, he actually links it because he says, the person that's growing in their faith, they're going to lack nothing. But if anyone lacks wisdom, and he bridges that, needs to ask of God, who gives generously. Not to him who doubts, though. This is an interesting thing. It's a place of faith. It's a place of trust. It's a place of just resting in him. Maybe you're going through a situation and you specifically kind of calm yourself down and you pray to God, God, give me wisdom for this situation. And then you start getting some thoughts. Thoughts maybe about a solution. Things that just kind of parachute in and you start getting some ideas. And then you start doubting. Don't doubt. Trust. Believe. Have faith that God gives you wisdom for that next step. Sometimes you just got to act on that next step. Though it doesn't necessarily feel like wisdom. The wisdom from God is amazing. It might not be our wisdom. We're not supposed to lean on our own understanding. We're supposed to trust him and acknowledge him. He's going to direct us. But you gotta believe. You gotta trust in this wisdom that drops down from above and act on it. So the word, if you're double-minded, you're going to be unstable in all your ways. That word, unstable, is an interesting Greek word. It's dipsychos. Kind of get a feeling for what that might mean. Dipsychos. It's not like the English word two-faced, which might mean, you say one thing, but you do another. It's more like two directions, two paths. You're being pulled in two different directions, two different paths. And so you don't know what to do and you don't do anything. So it's saying, don't be like this. You're facing two different ways. And it seems to carry this picture then of being tossed on a sea where you're going one way and next thing you know you're going another way. And it reminds me of Solomon, because Solomon, as we all know, Solomon was the wisest man who ever lived on the face of the earth, that kind of thing. But did Solomon really ask for wisdom? You know what it says in 2 Kings chapter 3? Is it 2 Kings chapter 3? Yes, it is chapter 3, verse 9. It says that Solomon asked the Lord for an understanding heart, a heart of understanding to govern his great people. He asked for a heart of understanding. Sometimes we think wisdom is just the smarts, but Solomon asked for a heart of understanding. So sometimes we ask God for wisdom and it might be the wrong motive. I just want wisdom so I can make some money. I want wisdom so I can get ahead in life. How about praying for a heart of understanding? I know I've been praying that. I have prayed that in the past. I've prayed for wisdom. And of course, if you want wisdom, God will give it to you, absolutely. But you know what you're going to need? You're going to need some situations where you have to apply the wisdom. So it's like praying for patience. You're going to get some stuff so that you can grow patience. You can ask for wisdom. You're going to get some stuff so you can apply wisdom. It's not a bad thing. I used to say, it's a risky prayer. Don't pray that prayer. It's a good prayer. Ask God for wisdom. He wants to give it to you. He longs to give it to you without reproach. But don't doubt him. Believe him that he will give it to you. Act on it, and he'll give you more. He wants to give you wisdom. He wants to give you that heart of understanding. Wouldn't that go so much further in our marriage? A heart of understanding, an understanding heart. Wouldn't it go far in our workplaces? Wouldn't that go far if we're a student at school? Wouldn't it go far just in all our relationships in day-to-day life? Wouldn't it go so much farther? But just remember, you start praying for wisdom, God's probably going to plop you right in the middle of some sort of situation where you need the wisdom from above. He'll give it to you, but don't be surprised that it's in the midst of a situation that you'd rather not be in. That's how the kingdom works.